I'll interview Richard Waterman, CPA and partner in a San Jose accounting firm, on the new California Domestic Partner tax law and how that fits into a long history of denying our community fair legal rights in financial matters. In 1999, California was the first state to create a domestic partners registry. But until 2007, domestic partners were treated as single when filing state and federal tax forms. With the passage of State Senate Bill 1827 in 2007, registered domestic partners are required to file their tax returns as a married couple. So domestic partners are to file as married under California law and then file as single on their federal tax returns. Yes, you heard me correctly. Confusing? You bet. Joining me in the studio to make sense of these changes is Richard Waterman, CPA and partner with Sparkman and Waterman Associates in San Jose. Welcome to the show, Richard.
Thank you.
So what is a registered domestic partner to do now that there's this new law and the forms have to be figured out? What do you do?
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion out there now to try to figure it out. There's some documentation, and you can get help either through the tax software or through a tax professional.
Do you find that most tax accountants right now are familiar with this law, the fact that it's new, and know how to guide their clients through the maze?
So many of the accountants know the high-level issues that there is this new law. Some don't. But then as you get to the details, there's very few of us that are actually looking into it and trying to look at all the nuances of it.
And now you've been holding seminars and got some pretty good response of people showing up wanting to know what to do.
Yeah, it's been incredible. We had over 150 people at the DeFrank Center recently to
Wow.
come
So is
see
that
us.
did they have enough chairs?
They didn't even, we had to even bring in some chairs from outside. So.
Wow.
Right.
So if you're a registered domestic partner and you want to try this on your own, are there software programs out there that support these changes?
Yeah, there are some of the more common TurboTax, and those things do support it. The issue is they support it if you had a question like, where do I put my mortgage interest or my property taxes? They're great at that. Now, if you have the question of, which a lot of domestic partners have, of how do I divide things up between my mortgage, my property tax, do I give more to my partner or me? You're not going to get a very discernible answer from the software. It just says, put it in box 3 and you're fine.
So you got to figure out your assets, your partner's assets, and then how it's classed together? Is that?
Right. So traditionally, before, you've had one tax return, you had to do the California, but there wasn't much planning. The federal and the California kind of are connected with each other. Now you have to worry about your return. You have to worry about your partner's return because there might be things to adjust. And now you even have a third thing to worry about to adjust to this whole complex maze of the California return, which is both of yours. So what was optimum before now may be different between you and your partner or between you and the California return.
So how do you know if this benefits you or is neutral or is a detriment?
Well, some of the things, it's hard to have, to generalize the thing. Some of it, they're estimating from the state franchise tax board, about 60% of the people it'll help, about 10% it won't. So, you know, and some of the things are kind of strange. For example, if you have two partners and one makes a lot more money and one makes, let's say, under $45,000, you might see a big advantage. If you have the example where one partner is really, really a great investor and the other is just really, really bad,
Yeah.
that's actually could help you out a tremendous amount on your taxes. On the other hand, if both of you are really bad at investing, and a lot of that's happening in 2008,
Just
we'll
in
see what
trouble,
happens.
right?
Yeah, and you both lost a lot of money. Overall, there's going to be a big detriment over just filing the way we did traditionally in prior years.
Are you continuing these seminars and trying to reach out to the community?
Yeah, so we have another seminar in March, and we do them periodically, trying to help the community, you know, to reach out and get people familiar with it. So we've been doing it here. There's been ones in San Francisco to try to get people up to date on these.
Do you think it'll get better next year and the year after that as the law becomes more understood, the nuances between federal and state hopefully come a little bit closer together?
Yeah, so hopefully some of that may help from the federal. Some of it, as you say, is just as time goes on, we get used to things and which things to fill out. A lot of people a few years ago just filled out the form, said I'm a domestic partner. It was just a sheet of paper, and now they're coming saying, oh my, what am I supposed to do? Whereas a traditional married couple may know, how do you change your address? How do you get divorced? What needs to be filled out? We're still learning these things, and this is the first year where it's really starting to have some meat. We need to do some things to adjust it. So there is a big learning curve ahead.
So there's a lot to consider. It just even pulling the records together and understanding what you need to do, right?
Yeah, and the whole thing of sharing your records with your partner and who's going to take control of it. You know, traditionally, as the CPIC, either the husband or the wife is looking at the bookkeeping. Well, up until now, things have been separate. Now they're coming together. Right? Who's taking charge? Some people even use a different accountant. For each of them has their favorite accountant. And now things have to come together because we have to adjust things. And
wow. Well, you know what? We are out of time, believe it or not. We can. I know this is a long topic, but we thank you for your expertise and your help. For those of you who want to learn more about Richard and about the registered domestic partners change, please look at the number on your screen.
We'd love to get mail from you. Send it to Outlook Video at P.O. Box 390996, Mountain View, California, 94039-0996.
To contact us by telephone, call 408-293-3040, extension 205.
Or you can send email to comments@outlookvideo.org.
To learn more about Outlook Video and to get a list of our air dates and times, point your web browsers to outlookvideo.org.